People today are yearning for a connection between spirituality and social justice. This presentation is a follow-up to a conference hosted by InterVarsity Christian Fellowship called Jesus, Justice, and Poverty. The conference explored the issue of immigration in our city and asked the same question that Jesus asked. What does it mean for us to love our neighbor? In this presentation, two people will tell their own stories, sharing their own struggles, their own feelings, and their own motivations for the things that they do. It can be easy for us to see this issue only in terms of politics and policies. Instead, we invite you to see life through the eyes of another human being, the way that Jesus would ask us to. Please look through the viewfinder. When you hear this sound, please advance to the next slide.
I was very scared. When we jumped the border fence, I landed hard. One of my ankles was either broken or dislocated. Everyone was running, and I was getting behind. Finally, they just left me. I didn't know what else to do, so I stopped. I remained in the desert for several hours. It had been more than a day. I was very thirsty. I almost felt like fainting. I was alone, afraid, wondering what would happen to me, wondering about my family back home. I came from a little town where everyone knew each other. I remember playing hide and seek with my 5 siblings. I loved coming back home after school to be with my family and to eat my mom's cooking. When I was in 3rd grade, my parents could no longer afford to feed our family. I had to quit school to sell tamales. Then my mother got very sick and couldn't even make the tamales that I would sell on the street. When I was 13, our situation became so bad that our only option was to send me north. The thought of leaving my family saddened and scared me, but I couldn't let my family live like this. I decided I would do whatever it takes. I had spent more than a day alone in the desert without water and with a broken ankle. I don't know what would have happened if the border patrol hadn't found me. They took me to the hospital. They contacted my uncle in San Diego. He came and took me into his house. It's been 4 years since I've seen my family. My life now is much better. I'm still very worried because I know that immigration can come and pick me up at any time. I know that my family still needs me. I'm very happy when I'm able to send money to them and to hear their voices when they call me. I would like for my family not to worry where their next meal will come from.
I was 23 when I came north. I just finished a nursing program at a university. I was only supposed to be here for a few months to save money to help my family. After we crossed the border, we ended up working at a citrus grove. For about 3 weeks, we lived and slept under the trees and on pieces of cardboard. We used to eat anything that we could, mainly just oranges. Then we were able to move into an old trailer. I remember when the foreman of the citrus grove came to the trailer. He asked me to work for them by cooking. I said yes. One night, he came back. He was drunk and he raped me. He told me that he had gotten me all those things, the trailer, the clothes, the blankets, and the cooking job so that he could do whatever he wanted with me. He raped me many other times. It was the most terrible experience in my life. Nobody knew what I was going through. I felt alone, dirty, ashamed, and trapped. After we had been working there for a while, immigration came. They deported us all back to Mexico. Once we were in Tijuana, the foreman told me that he didn't need me for anything anymore, and he left me. He left me with no money, clothes, or possessions. At this time, I realized that I was 2 months pregnant. My only option was to go back north. I had to jump a fence. It was so high, and I worried that the fall may hurt my baby. I was alone, ashamed, and I remember thinking that if this ended my pregnancy, it would be okay, because that way my baby would not have to suffer as much as I had. I made it across but was extremely sad and very depressed. Every day I would cry alone for hours. One day while walking across a highway, I decided to end my life. I thought to myself, I don't want to suffer anymore. My baby and I shouldn't have to live like this. I was getting ready to jump when I felt a strong, powerful wind push me back. I realized that what I was doing and stepped down. After this, I started to go to a church. People began to know me and help me through the rest of my pregnancy. As soon as they put my baby on my chest, I couldn't let go of that little girl. I love her so much, and she's the most powerful thing in my life. I still fear telling people my story because I'm afraid of being sent back. I'm thankful that I have my daughter and my faith in God to encourage me and give me hope.
These stories happened in our own backyard, here in San Diego. Thousands of people have similar stories. They are living in the shadows, unknown. We interact with the people that have these stories on a daily basis without even realizing it. What does it feel like to know these stories? Jesus reveals to us that our humanity is restored as we become known and as we begin to see life through the eyes of another. Many stories remain to be told. Do people know your story, your struggles? Do people know their stories, their struggles? Does anybody